this is Yasmin's Learning Belly Dance. Today we're back into making how to make a belly dance bra. So where we left off last time when I was making the second bra in the series, I said that I had to sew the second part of the trim downward because of the crisscross. It made it sit up some. So I'm going to show you that first, and I already started on the second type of trim putting on. But here, remember I was talking about, because I sewed the trim at the very top of the base, so I had to sew the second part downward, which is the lower part of the trim, because it would sit up, so I did a crisscross shape on the bra. So that's sewed down, so you'd have to do that so it wouldn't sit up no matter how the bra is sitting, okay? So what I'm doing now, I'm adding on a second trim, and I'm putting it right above the cream at the bottom. So that's what we're on today. So I'm showing more of this bra's design while I'm making it. I'm giving it to my student on Wednesday, I believe, this week coming up. So I will actually show a little bit more of it before I'm done the finished product, and I'll show you that finished product as well. So, oh, little trims off. So here we're going to begin putting this piece on. I already started it here by attaching it. Now this type of trim, when you clip it, it can be annoying at times because it will try to shed on these ends because you cut it. You can remedy that. You can use a little bit of clear glue for the craft glue for making clothing to keep it together, or you can ignore it all together after you trim it, cut it evenly, and then just sew the ends into the bra to make sure they don't come off. That's what I've done. I used to use some different glues, but I decided to get away from those because your costumes can't be washed if you use more glues. So anyway, moving on to the sewing. We begin to sew, and I used red thread today because I have a red trim. So you won't see any threading lines coming through the trim. So I'm going to sew the trim onto the top, going through the top of the trim line instead of the middle or the bottom right now. So that's what we're doing here. And there's always finished touches you have to do on your bras when making them. So when you want to get the trim on to see how it looks, you could do the long stitch, which is, you know, pull it through here and you would skip a bit, but you want to do the skipping on the back side of the bra, not on the top. I'll give you an example. Let me pull this through. So when I come out here, I'm right here. And when I go back in, I go right next to it and do that. Because you don't want to see thread going across the trim. Even though it's red, you would notice that. So when you go under the inside of the bra, you can skip further and then poke. See, I'm here when I went under, but now I'm all the way over here. Okay, so I'm doing a longer stitch. But I only advise that if you need to just put the trim on to see if you like it or not. Of course, you can always use the pins that I was talking about before, because that way you can place them and put it in place while you're sewing. Some people need that, the pins, to hold the item in place while they're sewing. Those work very well for that. I don't use them too much myself because I've been sewing since I was a little kid, actually, since I was about 5. So I'm quite used to sewing. I know back in the old days, I say old days, back in the old days, it used to be an essential thing for a female to know how to sew clothing. I don't think it necessarily should have been something that girls stopped learning. Of course, males can learn too. But I don't think it's something that girls should have stopped learning how to do, necessarily. I think it's a good skill to have. You're like, well, you can't always make money with that skill. Well, you actually make quite a good amount of money with this skill, sewing skill. And you never know when you need to sew something for yourself. And of course, in belly dance, and we have so many different costume types out there, and also they cost a whole lot. And not all of us can afford these costumes, you know, for the price that they are. So making them sometimes is a good way to get around the high cost. Though it can get extensively high when you're talking about buying all your materials and the like, of course. So that's another thing. I think usually when I make, like I've made that small other bra at the beginning of this series, and this one, actually, I think all the All the products that I bought to make the bras actually came to about, I don't know, I got spent roughly $50 on the actual trim and chains and stuff like that. It wasn't too bad. That's not too bad, considering I can make 2 bras out of the products that I purchased. That's not including the bras themselves, you know, but really it's not too extensively high. When you're making your own costume, you end up getting 2 bras out of it. It's very good, very good. So I'm going to just do a long stitch on the rest of this so we can get this done. You're going to hear me yammering on forever. And again, I'm just doing 1 stitch at a time. And right now I'm using a long stitch. Unless I'm on the top surface of the bra, so I don't want to do a long stitch on the top. I'm going to do it on the underside of the bra. So again, we're almost to the end of this trim. And I'm doing a long stitch to place it. Now I'll go back through and do smaller stitches to make sure it's well held in place. So I don't want to give you any bad habits. Don't always try to cheat, you know. That's only good when you're in the middle of making the bra, and then you can always do the touch-ups. You're always going to have probably touch-ups to do once you put a lot of the trim and covering and whatever your other embellishments may be. I don't really do sequins anymore, and the lovely, colorful sparkles. I'm not into the sparkles too much. I do love chains, however, and different emblems and different jewels, but I don't do a lot of the sequence type thing anymore. And we are coming down the end of the road to this trim. It's always nice once you finish your little projects and you see what you've come up with and your designs. And I've been asked by some of the public too, what do I do, you know, making tribal bra belts on video. I'll put a tutorial on that. And I actually will be doing that very soon. And I love how this gets caught up in the strap, so you're going to watch that. But I'm going to be doing a series on belt making as well, which is a little bit more elaborate because I can hand make them, which is sometimes good, or you could use sewing machine as well actually. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be using the sewing machine or not, or will I just do handmade. I might teach you handmade because not everyone has a sewing machine. They can be extensively priced as well if you have a good one. So anyway, we're going to lock this off. And you see the red is on the other side, the back side of the bra. But it won't matter. Since I'm giving this one to someone, I'm making this specifically for someone, I'm going to cover all that anyway, so you won't see any of the stitching. And I will show how to cover the inside of the bra, which I did with the other one. I did cover it, but I didn't show you how I did that. Sometimes it can be a pain in the butt, but so is the way. And I'm just relocking my thread. I always relock my thread because I know I'm going to be using it again very soon. So that being said, you see now the red trim on with the cream. So this is going to be a red, black, and cream colored bra. And I can't wait for you to see the finished product. Next time, most likely, there'll be a lot more on this, and I will attach more with you tomorrow, actually. And then we will see the finished product early next week. Thanks for watching. This has been Yasmin's Learning Belly Dance, how to make your own belly dance.